Hey guys, what's going on? Flawless Crested Geckos here. Will, Audra.
Hi.
Coming to you with another video. This video, we're going to actually change the pace a little bit. We're going to talk about what we used to do versus what do we do now. So kind of a flawless video on then and now versus like the beginning from when we first got 4 geckos to what we do now, where we have now 2,500 geckos. Or close to it, yeah.
Close to
it's
it.
Insane. Yeah. So I couldn't imagine actually doing this, what we do now, when we had far less geckos back then. We're doing it on a whole nother level. But I can remember the number one thing that jumps into my head would be bug night.
Oh my goodness.
So
bug night and pairings.
Yeah, and pairings, yes. So bug night, first. And we do consider it kind of like a bloopers for us and a mistake by us. Yeah. You don't know what you don't know
until you know it.
Right. So we used to take all of our geckos out of their enclosures, and at that time we probably was up to like maybe 25 geckos. We would take them all out of their enclosures and put them in little tubs, like little Tupperware. Small, like a sandwich long, where you can have like a little side chips or something. It was like Tupperware, and we would all have them all labeled for the geckos. So the geckos had their own Tupperware, so it would be
yeah, we had them labeled. They were labeled.
So we would take every gecko out, put them in, and then we would calcium dust our crickets or dubia at the time.
We did a lot of dubia.
And put them in there, and then sit them in the dark, and we would keep coming back and checking on them like every 15 minutes, seeing if they eat all of them. Some would eat, and some was like, we're not doing that.
We're not doing this.
That was an amazing waste of time, and the things that we've kind of came from to where we are now. That it was absolutely crazy. Yeah. Now, what we do is when we get our order in from Gans, we get a large order in from Gans, and it's very user friendly. We're able to open it up and gut load and tape it back up, let it sit for a few hours, and then feed pretty much right directly out of the boxes. Very quick and streamlined.
Very easy.
I want to say, and also, what was another one? We used to have custom enclosures.
Yes, we did. Each of them had their names in them. Yeah. I mean, we did like these. We went to, what we did was we went to Petco or PetSmart, I think it was, and they would have like
20-gallon long
gallons.
Tanks.
And it would be like $1 a gallon.
Yep.
Remember?
We would go and pick up a bunch.
Yeah, and customize.
Start spray foaming them and putting the background, the moss, and the
and that's cool. Like it's cool.
It's really
it looks really good as like a centerpiece. Like maybe one day again we will do that in like our forever home as a centerpiece in our house.
Right.
With like I don't know, moss and different things like that.
Yeah, because they had all like the tags, all the labels and stuff.
Like acrylic with the we
Penelope.
Special ordered their names.
Yeah, we had all the acrylic etched name plates and everything. It was really cool.
We wasted a lot of money and time.
a ton.
Yeah.
What else?
And old Penelope, like she had this huge, gorgeous, wonderful enclosure with all these beautiful plants, and the only thing she wanted to do was stick herself to the absolute far corner of the glass
and stay in the corner. Yeah.
Stay in the corner. And let her tail just flop it. I'm like, stop it! You're gonna have floppy tail syndrome. Like, stop it! And but that girl, I could never get her to cooperate.
And she's still here with us now?
Yep, she's still hanging out. She still does her thing.
What other crazy things did we do? Oh, and feeding schedule. We used to feed every other day.
Every other day.
Yeah, that was a lot of work and a complete waste of food. I mean,
because they
did not eat it like every time.
That's like a common misconception. It's like that geckos will eat every other day. They just really don't very much. At least in our experience, they haven't.
And we've tried every other day. We've tried every 3 days, and then now at this point we've been doing it this way. where we feed Mondays gecko diet, Thursday gecko diet, and
years
dusted bugs for 2 years now.
2 years now, yeah.
And it's been very successful for us. I mean, we have geckos growing at a insane
Better
rate.
Yeah. They grow at a far better rate, and it's just maintaining the consistency. It doesn't really, I don't think it really matters like what your cycle is.
As long as it's not every
other day.
As long as
it's not every other day, and as long as it's consistent in nature. Like, just remain consistent. Now, consistency doesn't necessarily have to do with your flavor varieties. We don't get into all that. We just use whatever flavor we have on hand.
Because we feed Rapashi as well as Pangea. And mix them sometimes, mix the Pangea's flavors together, mix the Rapashi flavors together. Sometimes we mix Rapashi and Pangea together.
And they chow down on anything we give them.
And BP Zoological as well.
Yeah.
Other than that, and then another crazy story of what we used to do. So I remember a long conversation. We've actually told the story in other videos before, but had a long conversation actually with Brian from Altitude Exotics, and we talked to him all the time, and he mentioned something like, "What are you about to do?" I'm like, "Oh, I'm about to feed." He said, "Oh, okay. How long did it take you to feed?"
6
and it was
hours.
Like, it was like 4 hours or something. It was something crazy.
It was something crazy for like.
He said 4 hours. He said, "How many geckos you had?" And I think it was like 50 geckos.
At that point, yeah.
He said, "It took you 4 hours to feed, 50 geckos?"
geckos?
I'm like, "Yeah." He said, "What are you doing?" So then that's when we first found out about humidifiers, which was a game changer. Because I'm like, humidifier, what do you mean? He said, "Man, I haven't misted geckos in years." I said, "We miss like every night." So that was a game changer for us, because back then we would mist every night, every evening. So when it was feeding time, we would go in, we would mist and everything, but we ended up ordering the humidifier, and never looked back from there. Went from feeding 50 geckos in 4 hours to probably 45 minutes. It was something drastically different.
Drastic difference.
And we still had tubs. We were keeping in tubs with lids. We didn't go lidless either. But that was a huge change for us. It saved us so much time. So when you save so much time, you know what that means: buy more geckos.
Yeah, it does.
So we ended up getting in even deeper with even more geckos.
And then, so that leads to another then and now. Back then, we were actually housing our geckos in our home.
Yeah.
And actually, the room we're sitting in right now.
Yeah. This was one of them.
This was one of them. Yeah. This was the main room.
Yeah.
Like we're sitting in now. We had.
This was the second main room after the redo.
After the redo, yeah.
Because the other room was the main room. It's been stages to this process, everywhere. To this journey, guys.
And now, if you followed along with us this far, we have a fully functional facility. Yeah. That does have a humidifier and dehumidifier depending on what is necessary or the need down there. It's all smart capability now. It's just crazy. I don't know what we would do if we were still doing what we did then.
We probably would be at this point. No, definitely not.
No.
Which brings up, you started on it earlier. Another thing and now would be pairing nights.
Yes.
So.
Oh my goodness.
Pairing nights. And and it comes with a grain of salt, because you live and you learn. Yep. We had Django. I remember Django.
Oh,
beautiful gecko, absolutely gorgeous. And he had this pearly white tail. He was a red quad stripe.
Yes.
And he had a pearly white tail. And during those times, our practice, our standards, what we went by was, we would take them out of their enclosures, and we'll put them in like a 6-quart, or even I think like a 20 quart, empty, and we would do our pairings on pairing night.
And then we would proceed to go.
Yeah, and look at them like that.
They were like,
what the heck
are you doing?
So we were trying to sneak around and look at them in the dark, trying to see if they're paired up. And the worst thing would be when they lock and they miss. We're like, oh, he missed. We'd be calling each other.
Yeah,
we'd be literally.
Like he'd be working or I'd be working, and we'd call each other. We'd FaceTime like, look at this.
Completely locked in, when we're doing our pairings, and we used to do that consistently. And we was talking about Django because I remember we paired Django.
Dream. Was it Dream?
Django and Dream,
yeah.
and his first time being paired up with her, he threw his tail.
He got in there. Well,
my goodness.
I put him in there because you were at work, and he just started like running like crazy. I'm like, what's wrong with him? What's wrong with him? And then so I took him out, like, because it freaked me out, obviously, since I was new. And I called him. I'm like, Django went crazy. He absolutely went crazy. He's running all over the place. What do I need to do? He's like, well, we'll just try again tomorrow.
Right.
So the next night we put him in, and
he said, nope.
He like started running, and then the tail went flying, and I'm like, oh my god.
So some of our advice come from experience, guys.
Yes.
We learned, because some people, and they're successful at still doing their parents that way. We were not. And we tried it. I mean, week after week, every time on parent night, and we got locks and everything. That's great, but I think there was less complications and things of how we do it now.
Yeah.
How we do it now, we don't witness any locks unless we're kind of walking around the facility and we see them locked up.
Oh. Hi.
Now we've said it in other videos, but we pretty much go through a process where a male has a number of females, whether it's 2, 3, 4, and it goes week to week. Every Mondays, yeah. Every Monday, we weigh our male, make sure they're holding weight, and after we weigh out our male, we move him from his original female to the next female's enclosure.
And that has evolved from where we would put them in together and leave them in there until we saw that female start dropping eggs.
Right.
And that was just a total pure waste of time.
It's a waste of time.
It was a waste of animal. It was we weren't preserving our male very well at that point either.
Right. Now the way we do it now, we can preserve them.
We can preserve them.
But honestly, a male, the way we do it, guys, our practice. And it's just our opinion. The way we do it, we can preserve our male, to not, go through, just breeding. What that also prepares you for, you can breed to 5 females, 6 females, and it's still not even be halfway through the season. And he's pretty much what we call on the shelf, back in his own enclosure, not paired up with a female.
Chilling.
And if, hey, you may be mid-season, acquire a female, put her through quarantine, and this is awesome, and guess what, she's ready to go that season for you, and your male's ready to go too, because he hasn't been breeding the entire season, and you can literally pair him to almost as many females that he will take to, because we keep him through that cycle, whether it's 3 or 4 females. Every week on Monday we change him, we'll weigh him and change him to his next female until we pull fertile eggs from one of the females. Then he does not go back with that female. He skips over her until all his females on his list lays fertiles, and then he goes back into his own enclosure pretty much for the rest of the season. So it's been extremely successful for us to do it that way. And we've been able to get more pairings out of our male and save our male at the same time. So that is an amazing, I guess, educational moment for us, learning matter, live and you learn moment for us on what we used to do then and what we do now. Maybe that's about it.
Let's see. Anything else?
I guess maybe food, something simple. Food prepping the food. We went from making it, in the sink in a little thing, put a cup and
per cup, and
making it per cup, and now
sprinkling calcium into the cup.
Now we got a full blown
ninja
blender. Biggest blender they make, and go through still like 4 or 5 things of full blenders of food.
It's ridiculous.
It is. So that's what we used to do then and what we do now. What we do now, we like to believe we streamline things as much as possible. And even now, it allows us to have roughly a 12-hour-ish work day on Mondays.
And a 12-hour.
And a 12-hour, sometimes 14 on a Thursday. Because we feed bugs on a Thursday. Take a little bit longer. Audrey got little hands, so I'm the one that got to shake all of them out.
That's true. Like,
Yeah.
I was trying to figure out, because we told you earlier in the video that we, get these boxes in from Gans, and then we open them up and gut load, and then take them back, let them sit for those few hours in the mornings on Thursdays, so that they get all that nutrients that they need to, to provide what they need to our geckos. But then, the boxes, the way they're set up, they've got this little hole in them. And when you open it up, that's where the crickets come out. Well, the boxes are about, I guess they're about probably that wide, I would say.
About that wide.
Yeah, about that. Well, I'm like trying to figure it out, because I'm like, Will, I do it just like you. I'm like sitting here beating on the box, and I get them all down, and then I get it out, and these crickets go friggin' everywhere. I'm like, they're on me, they're in my face, they're in my hair, they're all in my clothes, and I'm like, what am I doing wrong? And then I finally figured it out. It's because he can take one hand and hold the whole box, and I have to hold the box against myself, because I can't hold it with one hand and shake at the same time.
She got little people problems, that's all.
Yes, little hands. I got little hands. Maybe with these nails I can grab it better.
No, I doubt it. But
give me a full ½ inch.
But hopefully you guys got some excitement, some entertainment out of some of our comedic relief,
our
or what
goofiness.
We used to do to what we do now.
Yeah.
If you guys have versions of some of this stuff that we're talking about, put it down in the comments. Also subscribe, check out some of our other content, follow our videos, our journey. We would definitely love to hear some of your stories.
Some of your before and afters,
that would
then and now.
definitely be funny then and now. But it's Will, it's Audra, Flawless Crested Geckos, and we are out.